And welcome to Illuminating, Thriving Through Uncertainty. We're super excited to have our panelists and our moderator here this morning. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping notes. So all attendees are muted and your cameras are off. We are recording and we'll show the video of this event on our website probably later this week. We encourage you to use the Q&A function to pose your questions. We may not get to everyone's questions, but we can certainly follow up with you after the event if we don't get to them. And lastly, please use the chat feature if you're having any issues with the audio. So yeah, now for introductions. Like I said, I'm super excited about these guests. I've known Brenda and Shaun. I've met both of them in 2016, and in 5 years, I've seen them hustle and grind to make their visions a reality. I've been cheering along in the background, and I watched them thrive through this pandemic. So little background about Brenda Mierzejewski of Mizzi Cosmetics. She started making her all-natural lip balm in her dining room. She basically got really creative with sales and marketing and started selling locally. Now she's in hundreds of stores across the country, and she has a manufacturing facility. And then Shaun, when I met Shaun, he said he wanted to rock Connecticut, and you totally have. You've opened so when I met you, you had one location in West Hartford, and now you have two. You have your second location in Avon. And, you've kept your businesses open during this pandemic with a people-facing business and started a new company with a rage room called Smash Avenue. So super excited to hear about how they've maintained these businesses. And now for our moderator, Jeannette Dardenne, I met in 2017. I have watched this woman shine. She's doing amazing things in Connecticut with her group, INGroup Creative. And she's also an amazing advisor at the Entrepreneurial Center, Women's Business Center, which is through the University of Hartford. Heard great things from your advisees. We're thrilled to have you here. I'm thrilled to have you personally in my tribe of entrepreneurial women, and also thrilled you agreed to moderate this. So with that, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Nan. That was wonderful. I'm also happy to have you part of my tribe. I'm extremely excited about this because I love working with entrepreneurs, and we've got two fabulous ones on today. So hope everyone is able to walk away with some valuable information. So with that, let's start. I've got a bunch of questions, and hopefully it gets everyone engaged and interested. Let's start with and maybe Shaun, you can answer first. How has the meaning of the word thrive changed for you since 2020?
Oh man. Let me turn my mic down 1 second. I'm hearing some feedback there. All right, there we go. So for me, I think the definition of thrive at one point was really about growth, right? How many stores can we open? What can we raise our sales goals to? How many bodies can we get in the building? It was a numbers game. It was about creating revenue, generating more ways for our employees to be able to grow and develop financially, as well as the businesses. Now it's really thrive is turned into a quality thing for me. How can we maintain the customers that we have? How can we keep their level of confidence high in such times of uncertainty? With all the PTSD that everybody has based on the COVID pandemic, how can we make our people feel safe? How can we make them then translate that message to other people and continue to see word of mouth driving new people into the building during a time where people are trying to stay away from each other? So for us, being able to see our core clientele, our community, stay inside of the building and continue to bring other customers in, shows that we've done the right things for our customers during these trying times, and gives us more confidence in our business, which gives them more confidence in our product. So I think for me right now, that's really what thriving is about: being able to keep your people confident, keep your people safe, and being able to keep the business open because of that.
Absolutely. What about you, Brenda?
Yeah, I mean, I really do agree with Shaun there. And our end, we work with a lot of retailers and wholesalers, and we found ourselves in a position of helping them thrive with our products. So, you know, it really wasn't about just Mizzi. It was, how are we going to help our retailers and wholesalers stay open, stay alive, and stay thriving through a hard time? So, you know, that alone, helping them, helped us grow. But we really found ourselves in a position that we were never in before. And I mean, I think Shaun said it very, very clearly. And I just take that over to our side with retail and wholesale, working with a lot of nurses and doctors, and the medical field during COVID was quite the eye opener and a different door for us, which, you know, brought that word thrive to a whole different level. There's a lot of definitions for it, for sure now.
Absolutely. And Brenda, to continue with you, what is one thing that you did in 2020 to pivot? You know, we all had so little time, right? It was like all of a sudden it was like, whoop, everything's closing. Now what? So what is one thing that you quickly did to keep your business open?
Yeah, so we're a clean beauty company, as most of you know. So we create a lot of different products like lip care and hand care and body care. And at that time, you know, I also have a manufacturing facility here. I have a lab, and I have access to a lot of things that people don't have access to. So when the pandemic hit, me and like our team really quickly, like super, super quickly, got on the ball, got on the phone, and started to bring in containers of alcohol, ISP alcohol, and we have the facility to make hand sanitizer. That was a saving grace for Mizzi Cosmetics at that time. And it also saved a lot of other, like all the essential workers out there. I mean, we were giving stuff away to, you know, the police, like all essential workers, nurses, convalescent homes, the Navy, the US Navy ship, hospitals in New York. Like people just needed it at that time. It wasn't about sales and how are we thriving. It was about how are we all going to stay safe, stay alive, and stay healthy. And we need to just work together no matter what we have to do. So those first, you know, when we shut down March 13th here in Connecticut for school, like that's kind of when it all began. Those first 3 months was how are we going to keep everybody safe, alive, healthy, and not get COVID, and keep everybody, like everybody. And that was our main goal. And that's what we did. And that helped us move through 2020.
Excellent. What about you, Shaun?
I remember when we all first got locked down, and I drove past Chick-fil-A, and the line was wrapped all the way around, like back into the street. And, you know, this was when everything first started. So of course, as entrepreneurs, we're like really nervous and, you know, borderline depressed, and what's going to happen with the business and who's coming to help. And I saw this business just on fire, and I'm thinking to myself, everybody is not hurting due to this pandemic. So how do I put myself in a position to be able to continue my entrepreneurial journey by adding value in a way that helps people through this thing? And that's how Smash Avenue was born. It provided a space for people to vent in a safe, judgment-free environment. Now, around this time, you know, parents were becoming teachers at home. You know, both parents and the kids are forced to be in the house all day with each other for the first time in a long time. People were losing their jobs. People were working, you know, overtime and not getting paid for being the ones at the forefront, you know, during this pandemic, and just all kinds of pandemic. We had social unrest. We had a bunch of different things going on. And the one thing that was consistent was that everybody was going through some sort of stress. Everybody was going through some sort of grieving period, some sort of anxiety. And Smash Avenue was birthed from that. So I think one of the big things for me was to find a way to continue to help people be in a good mental, physical, spiritual space by finding a healthy environment to purge in an alternative form. Still fun, still a good vibe, still a good environment, but very much something to help adjust that mental health.
That's excellent. Yeah, thank you. That's a wonderful explanation. Both of you have services or products that essentially try to make people feel better about themselves. So how are you getting that across? What is, from each of you, what is one form of marketing that you've really found to be effective during this time? Brenda, why don't you start?
Oh. Yeah, so, we've been focusing a lot on self-care because before the pandemic, I feel like everybody was go, 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 go. After work, you got stuff with the kids, or you got to make dinner. All this stuff is going on. You have no time for yourself. So a lot of people found time for themselves because they couldn't go anywhere. So how do you care for your body? So we launched different products that we weren't ready, we weren't going to launch until like down the road. So we had like this wonderful supply of products and ideas and formulas that we said, now it's the time to do so. So we focused on self-care and launched our entire body line. So we have things for the body, the face, the hands, everything to take care of yourself. And really, as far as like marketing to people want to see you. Like they want to see something real. They just don't want a post about a sale or a post showing product. They want to see you. They want to hear you talking. They want to see your environment. They want to see you without makeup on, what's the true you for my business. And they just want realness, because everything is getting so, I don't know, flooded online. Like it's like you have no room in social media. So you have to figure out different ways to get out there, and having that personal relationship with people and people seeing your face and you talking and telling the real story, or, whatever it might be, but have it be real. That's what's working for us. People want to meet us. People want to use our products because of our team just kind of becoming one with social media and opening up and being a little vulnerable.
Excellent. What about you, Shaun?
BODYROC is continuing to save lives. I mean, we've been voted best place to work out, best fitness center or gym for the past 6 years. And the results of our program kind of speaks for itself. When we're dealing with a virus, it's key that people continue to strengthen their immune system. We're so, fixated on being away from people, locking ourselves in our bubble, that we forget how important it is to get out, be a part of the environment so that our bodies can continue to grow, develop, and fight off a lot of these viruses. Here we have one of the, the best signature workout programs there is in Connecticut. And we're just showing people through our challenges and other things that we're doing within the space, people are continuing to work their bodies, which is helping to strengthen their mind, strengthen their resolve, and give them that energy to go back out into the world and fight all of these things head on. So many people like facing depression and all of these other, mental illnesses based on all of these things that we're going through. Get yourself into a space with other motivated people that are keeping themselves safe, of course, and in a safe environment, because we make sure we keep our place sanitized and clean, and find yourself some good energy. Find yourself a way to stay healthy. Find yourself a way to stay fit, to continue to fight not only the viruses, but all of the negativity that's going on outside of the doors, and continue to pass that energy along. So I think just through, keeping our social media energy up, showing what's going on in the space, the lights, the music, the trainers, the environment, like we haven't stopped. We're going to continue to grow, to thrive, and we're going to beat this pandemic, regardless of what happens next. And, just being a part of that energy helps to change things for people.
Absolutely. And if there's one thing that any entrepreneur can agree with, you're constantly working, right? It's hard to clock out at the end of the night. So what is a typical day for an entrepreneur business? Shaun, what are you doing, throughout your day to kind of stay sane?
Not enough time on this panel to answer that question. Wow, to stay sane. Well, for me, I don't know about you, Brenda, but I like to drive. I get in my car and I just go. I put on some nice relaxing music, and I explore. I find myself in environments that I normally wouldn't find myself in. Get outside of the box so that you can see things clearly inside. Because one thing about us entrepreneurs, like, we are hyper-focused, tunnel vision on the process, on the solution, on the problem, on the staff, on the social media. Like, we never get a second to breathe And sometimes just taking a step outside, clearing your mind and seeing some different things, getting a different vibe, helps you to see things that much more clearly. So for me, it's kind of like just get in your car, get outside of your comfort zone, move around, and feel some different vibes and help it bring new energy into the business.
Absolutely. Brenda, before you answer quickly, Shaun, how many hours do you think you spend in front of your computer every day?
My phone is usually my computer because I can take it with me no matter where I am. Probably a good part of the day. I'm probably not on the phone, probably like 4 hours out of the day. I eat, sleep, drink on that phone, unfortunately, which is why that drive helps, because I can't be on it. Or sometimes my favorite place to go is the casino, the sights, the sounds, but also because I can't have my phone on. And that's it. You know, sometimes it's the only way to escape, because Brenda, you know, like if the business can find you, it will find you. And there's always something happening. And we always feel like we need to fix that problem immediately. It can't wait 2 hours. It can't wait 2 minutes. We need to be right on top of it. So, you know, those moments are key, because, you know, we run ourselves into the ground for our businesses and we won't think anything of it. And sometimes our own, you know, personal health is an afterthought, because the business is a living, breathing thing. It's your baby, you know, and you want to make sure that it eats and it's taken care of. So, yeah, those moments that we give ourselves, even like a quick 30-minute drive, it's like going on vacation for 7 days.
What about you, Brenda?
So I want to say Monday through Friday, 50% of my day is actually in the lab. So I'm constantly in the lab, and I love that part because I'm not on my computer at all. So I am hands-on, and I'm a paper and pencil kind of girl, and I'm writing these formulas down as I'm going along and testing things. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I love doing what I'm doing. That's my passion. But then the other 50% is, I feel like my phone is like my appendage. You know, it's on me. It doesn't stop. That's throughout the day, at night, on the weekends. If there's a problem, you're the girl, whether it's for production, whether it's for distribution, whether it's for marketing, whether it's for financials, whether there's a leak in the building. I mean, you're the person, you're the go-to for everything. So for me, what I do is I do a lot of yoga. I found that to be very helpful before COVID. So I kept doing that, and I was doing it online. I am a very high energy ball of, I don't know, I just got a lot going on. So I need to calm down. I need to find that time. So I do meditating. I do a lot of like the 4-7-8 breathing. I exercise. I listen to Bob Baker. He's awesome. All positive affirmations in the morning and at night. And then Shaun, I have it written down here. So I'm into cars. I'm into like muscle cars, and I have a muscle car, and I have a sound system in my car, and that is my getaway. If I need to do something, I get in my car, turn on the music, and I go. So we have that in common, because it's the only way. Like, get away, shut it down, and just be in the moment with the music, and drive and see and just get away. So all those things, you got to do it. And there's days where none of that happens. So when you have that time, you got to take it.
Absolutely. And, I know we're talking a lot about the pandemic, right? That's kind of like the focus of our mind right now. But all of us, are constantly riding these up and down waves of being an entrepreneur. So Shaun, can you talk about some other, waves that you've had to ride, and, kind of how you're getting through them?
Other waves that I had to ride. Wow. Not related to the business, or related to the business?
Related to the business, yeah.
So Brenda, I don't know if you faced this, but after the pandemic hit, it became more and more difficult to find the right talent to bring into the business, to service the community that we love so much. And that's one of the more stressful things, right? Because you want to put yourself into a position, as the CEO, as the owner, to make sure that the business stays afloat, and that all the things are happening on the outside to make sure that the things that are happening on the inside stay fruitful. But in order for that to happen, you have to have your team inside to keep everything organized, to keep your systems and processes running in a way that keeps your people happy. And when you can't find the right people to bring in-house, then that becomes a new issue on top of the larger issue, which is keeping the business thriving. So that has been a wave and a half. Being a little more hands-on has helped to kind of like bridge the gap a little bit. But then of course, you know, you stress about what you're missing as far as what help can I get for the business in order to get us through this pandemic? And, you know, how do I reorganize the business in a way that, you know, keeps us moving, so that if another crisis happens, we already have our systems in order. The bigger picture, right? So we try not to focus so much on the micro and more on the macro. But that has been a big challenge. And I've seen through the news and social media that a lot of other, you know, small business owners and big business owners were dealing with the same thing. So when we talk about, you know, how we look at thriving, just being able to have a team that was able to continue our core philosophies and maintain the integrity and the quality of our business model during this time when it's been impossible to find people that we can trust, that we can bring in and give that energy to our community that they deserve. I think that's really what thriving is during this time.
Absolutely. What about you, Brenda?
Yeah, so I mean, that's always been an issue for us for the past 7 years is, you know, finding great help that is going to stay and not do like a lot of overturns. But I would say for Mizzi, for the beauty industry, you know, keeping up with the beauty trends. So that is, you know, always up and down. So you always have to have something in your back pocket. And, you know, luckily we do, but there's like a time, you can't just throw something out there. It has to be like physically lab tested to make sure it's okay. So like when you're waiting in between that time, you're like, oh my God, we got to get this out there. And, you know, but it takes time. It could take 40 to 50 days to have something tested. So we've kind of gotten past all that because of COVID. COVID helped us get all of our formulas out and we're like, let's just test everything now so that we can do all these launches and be ahead of the game. So that was like our biggest problem prior. And now that we were able to get ahead of it and get things tested, we have so much to launch over the next 2 years that's already been tested. It's just about, okay, well, when do we want to drop it? Because it's ready to go.
Smart.
So that was one of our biggest ups and downs.
Smart. Just so everyone knows who's on this lovely Zoom call with us, we only have about 1 more minute till Q&A. So if you do have questions, make sure you populate. So another quick question for you guys. What is one thing? So let's say like news comes out and it's like pandemic is over. What is like the first thing you're going to do? Shaun?
Throw a party. And I hate to sound irresponsible, you know, the news just hit and we don't want to bring a bunch of people close together, but it's part of our culture. You know, Jeannette, I don't know if you remember when we opened our Avon studio on Route 44, but it was like a movie. We had hundreds of people packed into the building, you know, to see us open this grand facility. And, you know, we're having champagne and we're serving food and we're exchanging gifts and exchanging energy. And we got all of the different towns, Bloomfield, Windsor, Hartford, Avon, Farmington, everybody together and people meeting each other and making new friends. And like, that is what BODYROC is about. And everything else aside, like that's what we miss the most. Bringing the people together to do beautiful things, bringing the people together to exchange positive energy and make fireworks and make everybody else jealous that they're not a part of it and come in and be a part of it. And like, that is the BODYROC experience, you know, and then the workout is kind of like secondary. It's awesome, but that's what comes with it, you know? And that's been missing for us. We really miss that. So we would have one of those, you know, signature BODYROC get-togethers, and we bring out our favorite chefs and all of our favorite vendors from the town and get that energy back going and get everybody moving in the right direction again.
I'm going there. Brenda, what about you?
Yeah, you know, I really miss visiting our retailers and like the big wholesalers and stores. So I'm affectionately known as the lip lady. So the lip lady goes to these places and I do lip treatments and I meet all these customers and I'm up close and personal with them and I'm giving them a consult on their face and I'm doing the lip treatment and recommending things and we're traveling and I just miss that. So when that's all done, I hope to get back out there with my team to do all those things and meet all these people and, you know, be able to have that personal connection with people that they need to try to use our product.
Yeah, we all are desperate for that personal connection. This is great, but it's like, I can't reach out and touch you guys.
I know.
All right, so we're going to go to our Q&A from some of the people who've joined in on this call. Let's see, so we've got something here. Failure is both unwanted and expected as an entrepreneur. How do you approach failure and push through? Brenda, why don't you continue on with us?
Yeah, so failure happens all the time. And in the beginning, it was like devastating to me to like fail at something. But I have this great group of women that I work with that like really lift each other up and we learn so much from those failures that great things come out of it. So I don't see failure, like I want to fail at something. If we're doing it the first, second time, every time I fail, I'm getting closer to the prize. So I look at it that way. I don't look at it as a negative anymore because if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn. So I just don't look at it as like this. I hate the word failure. So I don't look at it as that. We just move on quick. It's not like, oh, let me sit there and really feel that in my soul. And how do I get through it? You can't, as an entrepreneur, you cannot let that sit there. You have to understand it. Take it. What do I do? Move forward. And it's in the past already. It has to be in the past an hour later, or else you can't move forward. So that's where I am with that.
Absolutely. What about you, Shaun?
Yeah, that's kind of like my coach used to say in sports, you have to have a very, short memory.
Yeah.
And things are going to happen. It's part of business. Business is literally solving a series of problems every day. Take everything else out and that's all you're doing all day is solving problems. So there really is no such thing as a failure. It's just another part of business and it's how do you adjust so that you can move forward. And as long as you're adjusting and moving forward, you're growing. So she's right. There really is no such thing as failure unless you fail to adjust, in which case that's on the business owner, right? Because we see the problem. And if you fall into the same gap continuously, then you're failing to fix something. That's something that you need to check internally. But as far as failure goes, I mean, you've got a business, you're already a winner. It's not an easy thing to do. It's extremely hard. And because you're doing something extremely hard, you're going to face a lot of different problems. You just got to continue to persevere. You got to continue to be determined. Like Brenda said, your team is a major part. My team is they're like the biggest safety net or parachute that there is. I jump from the highest building. I jump from planes. I jump from helicopters. A lot of times I don't even tell them I'm jumping, but I'm always safe at the end of it because they won't let me fail, and that's another great thing to have people around you that think the same way you do, that are able to pivot and make those adjustments. And the only thing you have to worry about is what you're doing next. It's never, oh my gosh, how are we going to overcome this failure? It's, how do we make this adjustment and what's happening next?
Absolutely. Perfect. So well said, both of you.
Awesome. So much insight from all of you. First of all, Shaun, I would like to be invited to that party. I just want to put that out there.
Everybody's invited.
Learned so much from both of you. I was off camera and I was just nodding so much. I've seen that car go by with that muscle on it, and now I know what's going on. I know that you are defragging, and Brenda, I've loved watching the social media posts where you're just real, and I gained so much from this. And I think my biggest takeaway is get off your phone. I was just talking about that with Jeannette last night about just digital detox. So I need to close us out. Thank you all for coming. Like I said, the third part of our series, Shining Brighter, Growing, won't be until December. In the meantime, we are working on some entrepreneur networking. So we'll have some updates with that soon. So stay tuned, and everyone have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.